Shomari, welcome to the cave.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me today. We talk a little about your career, your recent project, Take the Night, which comes out July 8th. How's it feel, man, this movie coming out?
Man, it feels great. Can't even really describe the feeling. Long time coming. I'm really excited. I can't wait to see the film and share it with the world, man.
So before we went on the air, I told you I watched it last night. I like it, and we'll jump more into that. But at first, I was doing a little research on you, and you have an interesting career. You went from like the corporate world into acting.
Yeah.
How did that all happen?
I get that question a lot, man. But I don't know, man. It's kind of one of those things where I realized that there's more that I could be doing, and I wasn't really using my talents per se. So I used a lot of stuff that you learn in school and things that I gathered from professional experience, but I wasn't using my creativity as much. So I figured acting would be the outlet. It's something I know nothing about. So I said, let's give it a shot. And I didn't look back.
Where were you working in the corporate world where you kind of did you watch something on TV one day and you're like, okay, I want to give this a try? How does that even happen?
Yeah, man. It's crazy because when I tell people about that, they look at me like, for real, that's what happened. But yeah, I was watching a show. I was watching a few shows, but one show that really stood out was Entourage.
Okay,
that kind of did it for me. Yeah, I seen that show and I'm like, all right, I can relate to this guy. And it seems like it's far-fetched, but I mean, it's worth a shot, right? It looks like it's worth a shot.
So what'd you do? Did you work while you were doing night classes for acting? How did that?
Yeah, exactly. So at the time I was, the office was in Midtown. So I did some research and found an acting class, and then I get off the 9 to 5 and then hustle across town to get to acting class for the evening and just, try to balance that until I thought that I was ready to just take the jump, but you're never 100% ready.
So eventually, what did you do? Did you just quit the job or did you start going on auditions while you were working?
Yeah, so eventually started working it out so that auditions, ironically, I started getting auditions in the evening, which was great.
Okay.
So I do auditions in the evening and then eventually departed from the job and decided to, put all my energy and time into acting. But I had no idea. I had no idea what that looked like. But I gave it a shot anyway. So, I made an effort to put myself in front of as many casting directors as possible, get involved with as many projects, submitting myself for things online and things like that.
Yeah. So you mentioned Entourage was the show. What about a person that you look up to in the industry, not try to you watch their work, try to study, and try not to copy them, but to pretty much learn from the craft? Is there anybody you look up to?
100%, man. I mean, there's a list of inspirations for me. Denzel Washington, of course, the late Chadwick Boseman, Forrest Whitaker. The list goes on, man. I appreciate the dedication that all of those people put into the craft, and kind of watching how their careers went and how they grew. That's definitely something that was inspiring for me starting off.
So what do you think has been the biggest moment for you so far in the while working? Because you've worked on some cool shows too. I like The Chi. Yeah, I think The Chi is pretty good.
Chi was fun.
So what's been your favorite?
That's a tough one, man. I don't know. Take the Night was a really, really fun experience. I mean, who doesn't want to be a part of a heist film, right? So we're out in LA and doing all types of crazy stunt sequences and things like that. You know what I mean? I felt like we had our own version of a Fast and Furious movie. So that was definitely one of the, the most fun sets. But in terms of overall experience, Maya and Her Lover was one of the films that I did. That film, I think, as an artist, was one of the most satisfying because of the work that had to go into it, and me being challenged as an actor. So I appreciate projects that like that as well, that challenge my craft and challenge the work that I put into it also.
Yeah. Is there one show, present or past, that you could put yourself in? What would it be? Even if it's a one-time thing or joining a cast.
That's a great question, man. I love Game of Thrones, man. I love Game of Thrones. got to take a stab at that one.
I was waiting for you to say like Sopranos or something. I don't know why.
Hey, Sopranos is good too. Sopranos, that'd be different. But listen, that'd be different. So if I give you a present show, that's Game of Thrones. If I give you something from the past, go a little further back. I liked Broadwalk Empire.
Okay, that was another great show.
Yeah, that was really good too.
So, Take the Night. How were you approached for this, for the role of Shannon? Tell us a little about your audition.
Yeah, for sure. So this came at the time when, self-tapes became really popular.
Okay.
Right. A lot of us that have been working for some time, we're, used to being in person. So, whenever something like this comes across your desk and it's for like a feature film, and you're responsible for like a certain amount of scenes, you want to be in person with the casting directors and maybe some of the producers so you can fill that space and have the room. But this came as a self-tape. So I remember reading the character's description and, reading the story, learning about the character. I'm like, wow, this character has been through a lot, and a good amount of work needs to go into preparing for this character. So for me, that was one of my challenges. It was like making sure I did the work and brought as much as I could to the character in tape, within that frame. So I did the self-tape, and I was like, maybe it goes well, maybe it doesn't. I didn't really hear anything. I didn't hear anything for, I think it was maybe like a few weeks. The next, I got a message, and they're like, yeah, they want to do a callback on like Zoom, I believe it was. So it was a self-tape and then a virtual callback. I'm like, oh man, I can't get a break. I want an in-person situation. But the Zoom callback went well. I got to sit on with the casting director. I think one of the directors was on there as well. And, they ultimately, they said they liked what I brought to the character. And next, I think then maybe a few days later or less than a week later, I was on a plane to LA and then out there shooting.
Yeah. Are you a fan of the self-tape, or are you a fan of the live audition?
Hey man, listen, I'm always going to be a fan of the live audition. That's where I started. So, when I was starting off, naturally the nerves that come with going into a room and, wanting everything to be right and to go well, those are nerves that I naturally inhabited. But through my training and my preparation, I eventually overcame that.
Yeah.
So I became comfortable with the room, and I began to embrace it and want to be in the room more. So then now when the shift happened and it's like all self-tapes, it's like, great, you can do more takes, but ultimately you're alone. So you're your own biggest critic. And you end up taping for too long. So I prefer in person, man.
Yeah. A lot of people like the in person because they're like, like you could send a self-tape in and they can watch it. And then the next person is live and they like him better because they didn't get a chance to see you live.
Yeah, it's different. And then they also now, with self-tapes, they're seeing way more people on tape than they would in person.
Wow.
So you only have like the first 5 or 10 seconds to really grasp their attention and keep them locked in.
Wow. So for Shannon, how do you describe him, and how did you connect with his character to play him?
Yeah, for sure. So Shannon, he's a former basketball player, and his career was ended short because of an injury. Yeah. And so he's kind of somebody who's like down and out, and he needs a life-changing situation. And, he's willing to do whatever is necessary to change the circumstance. I was able to relate to Shannon, and he's also from Queens, New York, right? So I was able to relate in that aspect. We're both from Queens, New York. I also used to play basketball. And, I think the human aspect of it is like we've all been in a situation or a circumstance where, our back was against the wall, or where we were the underdog, or we had to make tough decisions. And I was able to just pull from certain life experiences of my own to relate to Shannon, and relate to his struggle, and make it authentic.
Yeah. So when I mentioned I watched the movie last night, it reminded me a lot of like remember those late 90s action type of movies, early 2000s? Yeah. That's the feel that I got watching this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I can see that. I think a lot of that has to do with the style. Our cinematographer, he was really, really talented. And he took a risk with a lot of different shots, and clearly they worked out. So what was your thoughts when you read the script, the whole story? I was like, wow, it's for me, it was kind of funny a little bit. I always find comedy in certain things. And like, even, you know, when people see the film, like Shannon's reactions to certain things, some people may find them funny, but Shannon was dead serious. So when I read the whole script, I'm like, all right, this story it's a beautiful story. I mean, ultimately, it's about family, like two different types of family and the choices that we make. But ultimately, I'm like, this is a fun story. There's excitement in it, and there's a lot of thrill in it. And I like stories that, you know, have thrill where you don't necessarily anticipate what's going to happen to, you know, the plot twist.
Right. So, and yeah, I was gonna say there's a couple twists in there too that people got to pay attention to.
Exactly. You'll miss them if you don't, for sure.
Right. What do you think was the biggest challenge playing this character?
Hey man, listen, one of those people who try to be, I try to train and live up to being a character actor and to really get into the method of it at times. And for this character, I remember when I got a call from the director, he's like, hey, we don't want you to cut your hair or shave your beard for like some period of time. And, you know, I always try to keep myself as groomed as possible. So I remember just like at moments just wishing like, dang, man, I want to go to the barbershop. I want to go to the barbershop. I need a fresh cut. But I was like, you know what? It's not about you, Shomari. Like, this is Shannon. Like, this is Shannon's circumstance. So that was kind of tough for me. It was kind of tough at the time.
How long were you on set filming this?
I want to say it was at least a month.
Okay.
I want to say it was at least a month. I mean, you know, when you're doing these things, time flies, but I think it was at least a month.
Yeah. Now, there's a lot of, like I said, action in the movie, you know, like, were you able to be part of those actions or were there stunt doubles involved?
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, one thing I will say is we had the Fast and Furious experience, but we didn't have all the Fast and Furious budget, right?
Okay.
Fast and Furious is on another level.
Right.
But no, I mean, we had the opportunity to be a part of some of those stunts. We had a really, really experienced stunt driver. Who he's been in like some of those same projects that we mentioned. So we got to, and you know, some of the shots required, you know, our reactions and things like that while being in the car. So we got to be a part of, you know, some of those scenes as well while they were taping stunt sequences, which was cool.
That's awesome. How was it working with the cast now? Like Brennan and Seth, just to mention a few.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Everyone was really enthusiastic, to say the least. So every day we showed up to set, we understood that we had a limited amount of time to get a lot done. And ultimately, we all wanted to make this project, you know, the best that we could. So I think, and I feel honestly, like everyone put their best foot forward every day on set and really bonded. And we had a great time. It was literally, we were getting paid to have fun, literally.
That's awesome. What was your favorite moment on the set?
Man. I want to say there's a scene when the heist first takes place.
Okay.
That scene was fun. We shot that in like downtown LA, and we had this really, really cool location. From the first day that we showed up to that location, I was like, wow, this is going to be a good time. So as we started working our way through the location, I think the scenes that we shot at that location was probably one of the most fun for me. And then, as I mentioned, a lot of the stunt sequences with the car scenes as well.
So Take the Night is July 8th on limited theaters. How excited are your friends and family about this movie when you're telling them all about it?
Man, people won't stop asking me about the movie right now. Everyone, I mean, literally today I got like 30 messages. What theater? Where's it going to be? I'm just excited as they are. I'm glad that people are excited about the film. I think the theaters are definitely going to be packed on the 8th for sure.
That's awesome. Now, what's next for you now? Any other projects you're allowed to tell us about?
Yeah, I can't go into details, but I'll be recurring on a series on television, I believe later on this year. It's a drama series, real authentic story. And the character that I'm playing in that series is he's kind of like a gritty character, to say the least. I'll say that. That's the most I can say right now.
All right. Shomari, how can the listeners, the viewers find you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. It's at Shomari Love. That's where I'm most active.
I love the name, by the way. You must get a lot of compliments on that name.
Yeah, I do, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love my name also, man.
Shomari, thank you for giving a few minutes today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.